Every morning when you wake up, before the voices of doubt start whispering, before the weight of yesterday tries to sit on your chest, you've got to open your mouth and declare truth over your life. Because if you don't speak power to yourself, life will speak defeat to you. Tell yourself this: I am not what I went through. I may have been hurt, but I am not broken. I may have been betrayed, but I am not bitter. I may have been overlooked, but I am not invisible. My identity is not wrapped up in the storm I survived. I walked through fire, but I didn't burn. I went through hell, but I didn't settle there. I came out refined, not ruined. Say it with your chest: my purpose is greater than my pressure. Pressure is not there to crush you. It's there to prepare you. Diamonds are not made on vacation. Oil doesn't come without the press. So don't curse your challenge. See the champion it's building. The greater the calling, the greater the crushing. But when God puts a vision in your spirit, no attack, no delay, no disappointment can erase it. You were chosen before the fight, and that means you'll be standing after it. Look in the mirror and remind yourself, I was built to rise. Life may push you down. People may walk away. The odds may be stacked, but there's a bounce-back anointing inside you. You're not going to stay in the pit. You're not going to settle in the valley. There's elevation in your DNA. You were created for the mountaintop, not the mud. So rise up, shake off the dust, and move forward, because your next level is calling. And if no one claps for you, if no one sees the struggle behind your smile, tell yourself, I don't need validation to know I'm valuable. You don't need likes to be loved. You don't need praise to be powerful. You were valuable when you had nothing. You were chosen before you had a title. Heaven already approved you. So stop waiting on applause from the crowd that never clapped when you were crying. Hold on to this truth. Delay is not denial. Just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean it's not coming. Don't confuse the silence of God with the absence of God. Sometimes he hides you to heal you. Sometimes he pauses you to prepare you. But if he made a promise, it still stands. If he gave you a vision, it still speaks. Wait on it. Work in the dark. Trust in the slow. Because the blessing will arrive when your character is ready to carry it. And finally, I'm becoming stronger every day. You may not feel it, but you're growing. Every tear has watered your strength. Every night you didn't quit has added to your fire. The version of you today is wiser than yesterday and hungrier for tomorrow. You're not where you want to be, but thank God you're not where you used to be. So every day, speak life, declare truth, prophesy victory, because the words you say to yourself will shape the world you step into. I am not what I went through. That right there is not just a sentence, it's a declaration. It's a war cry. It's a refusal to be reduced to a moment of pain, because too many people are walking around wearing the labels of what life did to them. Wounds turned into identities, scars turned into names, and somewhere along the way, they began to believe that the divorce meant they were unlovable, that the failure meant they were incapable, that the abuse meant they were unworthy. But let me tell you something. You are not what tried to break you. You are not the betrayal. You are not the trauma. You are not the struggle. That was an event. That was a chapter. That was a season. But you, beloved, are the whole book, and that book is still being written. You may have come through the fire, but you don't smell like smoke. You may have gone through the valley, but you didn't build a house there. You kept moving. You kept breathing. You kept fighting. You don't even realize the strength it took for you to make it this far. People see your calm, but they don't know your storm. They see the smile, but they don't know what it costs to wear it. So don't you dare downplay your survival. Don't you minimize your resilience. What you went through was real, but you are still here. That means there's something greater in you than what tried to take you out. See, the problem is that the enemy doesn't just want to wound you, he wants to rename you. He wants you to wear that failure like a cloak. He wants you to walk around like the rejected one, the abandoned one, the addict, the mistake. But that's not who you are. That's just what you face. The enemy calls you by your pain, but God calls you by your purpose. The pain was part of the process, not the definition. The trial was the training ground, not the title. You got to look back at your past and stop letting it hold power over your present. Stop rehearsing the hurt and start reclaiming your identity. Yes, they walked out, but that doesn't mean you're unworthy of love. Yes, you messed up, but that doesn't mean you're disqualified. Grace still works. Mercy still reaches. Redemption still restores. And the same God who saw you cry yourself to sleep is the same God who's preparing a table for you in the presence of everything that tried to bury you. The past happened. We don't deny that, but we refuse to let it define us. We don't erase the story. We just refuse to end it in the middle of the pain, because God writes in full circles. He finishes what he starts. So even when life gives you a rough draft full of edits and tears, he takes the pen and turns it into a testimony. So every day when the memories come, when the pain whispers, when the mirror tries to remind you of the worst chapter, you rise up in boldness and say, I am not what I went through. I am not the worst day of my life. I am not the one who gave up. I am the one who got back up. And that voice, that declaration, that truth, it will break the chains shame tried to place on your soul. Because once you stop identifying with your wounds, you can finally walk in your healing. Once you stop labeling yourself by what happened to you, you can finally see the beauty of what God is doing through you. You're not what you went through. You are what you survived. And survival is just the beginning. My purpose is greater than my pressure. Life has a way of putting weight on your shoulders that you didn't ask for. It will press you down with burdens you never saw coming. Responsibilities, heartbreaks, betrayals, losses. Some days it feels like the walls are closing in, like the pressure is too much to bear. But let me tell you something that will shift your entire mindset. The pressure is not proof that you're cursed. It's evidence that you carry purpose. If there were no purpose in you, there would be no pressure on you. If your life wasn't valuable, the enemy wouldn't waste his time. You are not under attack because you are weak. You're under attack because you're carrying something powerful, something precious, something world-changing. Diamonds are only formed under intense pressure. Oil is only pressed from olives with crushing force. Gold is refined in fire. So when you feel pressed, stretched, and surrounded, it's not the end, it's a sign of preparation. You've got to shift your perspective. The pressure doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to develop you. See, we often pray for elevation, but we forget that pressure is the elevator. We ask for strength, but strength is forged in the strain. You don't grow on the mountaintop, you grow in the valley. And every time the pressure increases, your purpose deepens. That crushing season is not where you die, it's where you discover what's really inside you. You were built with more in you than you know. The pressure is simply revealing the depth of your potential. The greater the calling, the heavier the preparation. And God will never put more on you than He's put in you. So if you're carrying it, that means you're capable. It may feel like it's breaking you, but it's actually making you. It's pressing things out of you that don't belong and pressing things into you that you didn't know you had. And sometimes we confuse pressure with punishment, but the pressure isn't always from the devil. Sometimes the pressure is divine. Sometimes it's God squeezing out the excuses, the laziness, the pride, the fear. Sometimes it's Him molding you, stretching you, enlarging your capacity so you can handle the weight of what's coming next. Because purpose comes with a price, and pressure is part of the payment. But here's the good news. The pressure doesn't last forever. It's seasonal. It's temporary. And if you don't give up, if you keep pressing forward when everything in you wants to quit, the pressure will produce something priceless. It will burst something in you that couldn't come any other way. And when you come out on the other side, you won't just have survived. You'll be stronger, wiser, deeper, and more focused than ever. That's why you can't let the pressure silence your promise. You can't let the weight make you forget your why. Every time the pressure rises, remind yourself, My purpose is greater. My calling is higher. My destiny is bigger. You've got too much in you to stop now. You've cried too many tears to quit here. Don't let the temporary discomfort rob you of permanent destiny. So square your shoulders, wipe your tears, and speak to your soul. I was made for this. I was born to handle pressure. I was designed with purpose in mind. I may bend, but I will not break, because what sets on my life is worth the fight. What sets on my future is worth the fire. Your purpose is greater than your pressure. And when the pressure is over, the glory will speak. I was built to rise. You may not feel like it right now. You may be surrounded by chaos, knocked down by life, and sitting in the rubble of broken plans. But just because you've been down doesn't mean you're finished. Just because you've fallen doesn't mean you're failing. Falling is not the end of the story. It's part of the process. Because inside you, deep in your spirit, is a design that refuses to stay down. You were built with comeback in your DNA. You were built with resurrection in your bones. You were built to rise. That means no matter how many times you fall, no matter how far you've sunk, no matter how bad it got, there's something within you that won't let you quit. It's not strength that comes from the outside. It's power that comes from within. When people walk away, when opportunities dry up, when doors slam in your face, something inside of you whispers, get up, you're not done, there's more. And I know, it's easier said than done. Life will throw punches that knock the wind out of your lungs. You'll go through seasons where everything breaks at once, where nothing makes sense, where you don't have the words to pray and the strength to move. But even then, even in the silence of despair, your spirit still holds the spark of rising, because your design is not ordinary, it's divine. The one who formed you didn't make you fragile. He made you for battles. He built you for storms. He equipped you for valleys. So don't confuse your season with your structure. You're in a fight, yes, but you were born for it. What you've been through didn't break you. It built you. It developed your grit. It sharpened your focus. It matured your faith. Every time you got knocked down and got back up, you proved to hell that you're not easy to defeat. You may have scars, but scars mean you healed. You may have limps, but that means you lived. You may not have it all together, but you've still got purpose in your pulse. So don't stay down. Don't make a home in the pain. Don't settle in the place where you fell. If you're still breathing, there's still building. If your heart is still beating, your story is still unfolding. Every setback is a setup for something greater. Every loss is a lesson. Every closed door is redirection. Don't waste your fall. Learn from it. Grow from it. Rise from it. And when you rise, don't rise the same. Come up with new wisdom. Come up with fresh fire. Come up with a deeper faith. When you rise, rise with clarity. Rise with boldness. Rise with vision. Because the fall didn't cancel your future. It prepared you for it.
People may count you out. It's say. They may label you based on your last mistake. They may expect you to stay broken, to stay bitter, to stay bound. But when you rise, and you will rise, you're going to rise with power they didn't see coming. You're going to walk in rooms they said you'd never enter. You're going to lead where they said you'd be forgotten. Because your fall didn't finish you. It fueled you.
So shake the dust off your soul. Stand up in your truth. Look your storm in the face and declare, I was built to rise. I am not my fall. I am not my failure. I am not my past. I am potential in motion. I am strength in progress. I am a rising force. You were never meant to stay down. You were always built to rise. I don't need validation to know I'm self-invaluable. There comes a time in your life when you have to stop waiting on people to approve you before you walk in your purpose. You've got to stop shrinking yourself to fit into rooms that don't even deserve your presence. You've got to stop lowering your light to keep other people comfortable in their insecurity. Because let me tell you the truth, they may never see your worth. They may never clap for you. They may never call your name. And guess what? That's okay, because your value isn't in their hands. Your worth isn't dependent on their opinion. You don't need validation to be valuable. Too many people are walking around thirsty for affirmation, waiting for someone to recognize what God already confirmed. You keep waiting for someone to say, you're gifted, you're strong, you're enough. But you can't live your life needing a constant applause. Because what happens when they stop clapping? What happens when they don't respond? If your confidence is built on compliments, then criticism will crush you. But if your confidence is built on truth, on who you are, on what you carry, then you can walk into any room with your head held high, even if no one acknowledges you. You don't need a crowd to be chosen. You don't need a platform to be powerful. Some of the most powerful growth you'll ever experience happens in silence, in the dark, in the quiet place where no one sees you. You are being shaped behind the scenes, developed in obscurity. And when the time is right, what's in you will speak for itself. You won't have to announce yourself. Your fruit will reveal your root. Don't let people who can't recognize your depth convince you that you're shallow. Some folks are blind to anything that doesn't benefit them. They'll overlook you not because you're lacking, but because they're limited. They'll devalue you, not because you're small, but because their own vision is too narrow. That's why you've got to learn to validate yourself. Learn to say, I know who I am. Even if you don't, I know what I bring. Even if you never acknowledge it, I know my assignment. Even if you don't understand it. There's power in not needing approval, power in showing up without an invitation, power in being confident without needing to be seen. When you know your worth, you walk different, you talk different. You don't chase attention, you command it. You don't beg for a seat at the table, you build your own. You weren't created for popularity, you were created for purpose. And purpose doesn't always come with applause. Purpose doesn't always trend. Sometimes purpose is lonely. Sometimes it's misunderstood. But don't confuse being overlooked with being unworthy. Some of the greatest moves of God in your life will happen in the shadows because he's not trying to make you famous. He's trying to make you faithful. So stop looking around for someone to affirm you. Look within. Look above. Heaven already approved you. The assignment on your life was written long before anyone had an opinion about it. The calling was given before the comments were made. What's been placed in you is not up for debate. It's divine. Every morning, look in the mirror and remind yourself, I don't need their likes to be loved. I don't need their validation to be valuable. I am who I am, with or without applause. I am worthy. I am enough. I am already approved. Because when you finally stop chasing their approval, you'll start walking in your anointing. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is more powerful than that. Delay is not denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Just because the doors are still closed, the phone hasn't rung, the healing hasn't come, the breakthrough hasn't showed up, does not mean that God has forgotten you. It does not mean that the dream was a lie. It does not mean that you missed your moment. Sometimes what looks like silence is actually strategy. What looks like delay is divine development. And what feels like being left behind is actually God pulling you back like an arrow because he's about to launch you farther than you ever expected. We live in a world that's in a hurry. Everybody wants everything now. Fast success, instant results, overnight validation. But anything worth having is worth waiting for. And when it comes to purpose, real purpose, it's not microwaved, it's marinated. It takes time. It takes fire. It takes patience. You've got to learn how to trust God in the waiting. Trust him when there's no movement. Trust him when your name's not being called. Because sometimes God hides you not to hurt you, but to heal you, prepare you, and protect you from places you're not yet ready to stand in. See, delay is a test of your posture. Will you still believe when nothing's changing? Will you still serve when no one's watching? Will you still pray, still give, still move forward when the blessing hasn't shown up yet? That's when character is formed. That's when real faith is built. Not when everything is going right, but when you keep showing up in the dark. You've got to understand that every delay is working for your good. If the opportunity didn't open, maybe it wasn't ready or maybe you weren't. If the relationship didn't last, maybe it was protection. If the path got blocked, maybe it was redirection. God is not a God of wasted time. If he's holding something back, it's because he's making room for something better. You're not being denied, you're being refined. And while you wait, don't sit still in frustration. Move in preparation. You may not see the door, but build the key anyway. You may not have the platform, but develop the message anyway. You may not have the audience, but perfect the gift anyway. Because when the moment comes, and it will come, you won't have time to get ready. You'll need to be ready. Don't let delay make you bitter. Let it make you better. Don't let it silence your praise. Don't let it steal your hope. Sometimes God waits until you stop striving to show you his strength. He waits until you let go of your timeline so he can show you his. He waits until your heart stops racing and your spirit learns how to rest. Because real trust doesn't require answers, it just requires obedience. So when the enemy whispers, it's too late, it's never gonna happen, you missed your chance, stand up in faith and say, delay is not denial. I may not see it yet, but I still believe. I may not feel it yet, but I'm still moving. I may not have it yet, but I'm still expecting. Because what God promised, he will perform. He is never early. He is never late. He is always right on time. And when the timing aligns with the promise, what's been held back will rush in like a flood. Suddenly, the waiting will make sense. Suddenly, the tears will have purpose. Suddenly, the doors will swing open. So don't quit in the delay. Because delay is not denial. It is just destiny on schedule. I'm becoming stronger every day. You may not see it when you look in the mirror. You may not feel it when you're tired, when you're waiting, when you're battling silence, pressure, or heartbreak. But strength isn't always loud. Growth isn't always obvious. Healing doesn't always show up in the way you expect. Yet day by day, moment by moment, something inside of you is changing. Something deep within is stretching, maturing, solidifying. You are becoming stronger, even in the silence, even in the struggle. Strength is not proven in the spotlight. It's not seen in the applause. Strength is built in the shadows. It's built when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when all you have is your faith, your fight, and your decision not to give up. Every time you get back up after falling, every time you press through the pain, every time you face another day you didn't think you could handle, you are growing stronger. The truth is, strength doesn't show up in how loud you speak. It shows up in how long you endure. It's the quiet strength of not snapping under pressure. The hidden strength of forgiving someone who never apologized. The inner strength of staying kind when the world keeps trying to make you hard. That's real power. And that's what you're developing. You may look at yourself and think you're behind, that you should be further, that you should be healed by now. But growth is not a race. Strength is not measured in speed. It's measured in resilience. Trees don't grow overnight. Muscles don't form in a day. And purpose doesn't unfold in a moment. So don't despise the process. Every time you choose peace over panic, patience over frustration, and faith over fear, you're exercising your strength. And strength doesn't mean you never cry. It doesn't mean you don't feel weak sometimes. It doesn't mean you have it all together. Strength is not the absence of struggle. It's the ability to keep going despite the struggle. It's knowing that you may be under pressure, but you're not under defeat. It's carrying weight you didn't think you could bear and discovering that you're still standing. You've survived things that would have destroyed other people. You've endured storms that no one even knew you were walking through. You smiled when you wanted to scream. You showed up when you wanted to stay in bed. You gave when you had nothing left. Don't tell me you're weak. That's strength. That's power. That's growth in motion. And what's beautiful about this kind of strength is that it's not just for you, it becomes your legacy. It becomes the foundation for your future. It becomes the voice that tells someone else, if I made it, so can you. The stronger you become, the more others can find hope through your life. Your scars become someone else's survival guide. Your testimony becomes someone else's blueprint. So every day you wake up, remind yourself, I'm not stuck, I'm growing, I'm not broken, I'm rebuilding, I'm not behind, I'm becoming, day by day, breath by breath, step by step, I am being shaped into something powerful, something resilient, something unshakable. You may not feel like a warrior today. You may feel tired, frustrated, or empty, but even that is part of the process, because strength is forged in fire, strength is formed in pressure, and strength is proven in persistence. You are becoming stronger every day, not because life got easier, but because you decided not to quit. So keep going, keep rising, keep becoming, because your strength is showing up, even if it hasn't fully revealed itself yet.